would like to discuss why the DeLorean was struck by lightning. So, at the end of Back to the Future Part 2, Doc Brown is circling around in the DeLorean, getting ready to pick up Marty, when the DeLorean is struck by lightning, sending him back to January 1885 and leaving Marty stranded in 1955. Almost immediately after, a man from the post office shows up with a letter that Western Union has had for the past 75 years, and we are gifted to one of the greatest scenes in cinema. Well, okay, maybe not greatest, but iconic. It's iconic. Okay, so 1885, Doc left the DeLorean in the Delgado mine for 1955 Doc to repair and send Marty back from 1955 to 1985. That sentence was very complicated. Time. Am I right? So anyway, that happens. But instead of going back to 1985, Marty goes to 1885 to stop 1885 Doc from being killed by Buford Mad Dog Tannen over a matter of $75. You know, sometimes I wish I had to look this stuff up and I didn't just know it off the top of my head. Neither here nor there. Cut to the events of Back to the Future Part 3. Marty is eventually able to save Doc from his fate, and he then returns again to 1985 through a lot of help from a train, aka Locomotive 131. However, Marty makes his journey alone as Doc stays behind to save his love, Clara. Okay, so as per Doc's request, Marty destroys the DeLorean. Well, okay, another train destroys the DeLorean, but whatever, it gets kablooied. Moments later, Clara, well, not moments later, he goes back, gets Jennifer, makes sure she's okay. They return, because apparently he wants to show her that the DeLorean was destroyed, blah, blah, blah. So then Doc, Clara, and their sons, Jules and Vern, show up in a new time machine created from Locomotive 131, and it's a hovering train, which makes it cooler. Am I right? I'm right. And honestly, that doesn't really make sense because Doc wanted to stop messing with time, but then, like, after he realized it's so dangerous and man was never meant to do this, but then he does it anyway. Again, very Frankenstein. But here's my question. Why did the DeLorean get struck by lightning? My theory, time itself wanted Doc to stop messing with the natural order. Bwam. Okay, so let's talk time bubbles. So a time bubble is formed around time travelers when they travel through time, allowing them to make changes to the space-time continuum without being immediately affected by the changes themselves. Because of this, the ripple effect catches up with the time travelers last. Once the changes do catch up with the time travelers, the time bubble is said to pop, and the time travelers begin to fade from existence. This is seen so much more in the comics, and yes, that's right, I've read the comics. I am that nerd. Okay, and I got the definition from Futurepedia, which is the fandom site for Back to the Future, if you're ever wondering. So anyway, the rules of time travel in Back to the Future are very similar to the rules of time traveler in Legends of Tomorrow, and Biff's in both of them. What does it mean? I don't know. So time bubbles are necessary to prevent any paradoxes from occurring. I talk about this a lot in another theory I have where I'm discussing why it is actually important and relevant for the characters to go to 2015 and make changes there. Basically, if you make a change to the future, time itself course corrects and retroactively alters the past to allow for the changes that were made in the future to now be part of the one true timeline, with, again, out creating any paradoxes. So time clearly can act to ensure that every move time travelers make don't disrupt the natural logical sequence of events. So why couldn't time itself strike Doc Brown with lightning and remove him from time traveling? And maybe time itself knew this would end up with the DeLorean being destroyed and Doc would stop time traveling. The hiccup with the theory is then Doc does create the time train, but you can't control free will, and Doc really, really, really is that chaotic neutral.